MLB and NFL bets and analysis Monday, September 23rd, guys. New week, new money, new energy, and we ended the week, last week, of course, on a really high note, guys. Ended up 3-1. College football started on fire, currently 4-1 to start the season. NFL 2-2. We did lose yesterday with the Dallas Cowboys. Almost came back. They just started the game terribly and we couldn't win that. Nonetheless, guys, we did bounce back from a very shaky start of the week. I started 0-4, like I mentioned on my last video, and ended the week 3-1 with momentum coming into this week. Now, yes, it was a negative week. It happens, guys, but at the end of the day, you guys know that I'm the most transparent person when it comes to my bets, my plays, and showing you guys the truth about my results and my profits or losses, right? So today I have a big play for you guys, actually two, MLB and NFL. So you guys know MLB, it's the last week, so you guys got to play it cautiously. Next Tuesday, wild card starts. So remember that if you guys are taking your own MLB plays, factor in that a lot of these teams aren't motivated and it's not worth taking. There's a very few valuable plays this week for MLB, and I'll be covering them for you guys, but just make sure you guys know that so you guys aren't taking games that doesn't make sense, right? Now, before I start with the analysis and giving you guys the winners for this week, I am going to be doing these videos 4 times this week, guys. 4 times. I don't do it during the weekend, but I am going to be doing it 4 times this week. And as always, guys, if you guys are liking these videos, learning, growing, or finding them funny because of my pronunciations to Illinois, thank you for correcting me. I do appreciate that. Share the show, guys. It goes a long way. Like this video. Shoot me a comment. It does help the algorithm and helps the show grow, and it helps us all, right? So let's start with it, guys. I wanted to show you guys the last 5 weeks from August 19th. You guys see it right here. I profited $37,969. Now, yes, last week was a little bit shaky, but nonetheless, when we zoom out, the profits are still there. You guys have seen majority of my plays, and along with that, I post all my plays in AF Sports, my Instagram, which I told you guys last week to follow because I was posting my play for Illinois, and I posted it there, and one of you guys followed and did that, right? So zoom out, we're doing great. We're going to crush this week. NFL's heating up, college football's heating up, and we're going to make big money this week. Now, I'm doing a little promo for you guys. I'm doing the week for $47. It gets you all my plays. If you guys are interested in that, just go ahead and message me on Instagram, NFL, and I'll give you the discount code to get that promo. Now, let's get to today, guys. MLB, there's 4 games. 4 games, right? Now, we always still look at OPS to see who's at the top, who's at the bottom. But along with that, we are factoring in motivation. What teams are playing for something and what teams just aren't. And the reality is there's just a couple teams that are playing for us something. Seattle, the Twins, Kansas City Royals, the Tigers. Along with that, too, you got the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Braves that are really playing for something. Philadelphia and the Dodgers are still playing for that home court advantage, and so is Cleveland versus the Yankees. Astros are a little bit more down and out. They probably already won their division. Let's pull this up to verify that. Last time I checked, they were up by 4.5 games, if I'm not mistaken. Now they're up 5. So they won their division. They're now fighting for that home court advantage. And Seattle Mariners are battling to make that wild card spot, and they're 2 games behind. And it's one of the games for today. So we have 4 games for today. Cubs, Pirates, Boston, Blue Jays, Seattle, Houston, and San Francisco at Arizona. And for me, this is the only game that makes sense to me. Arizona's attracting 80% plus of the money in bets. A lot of viability with that game. They are still playing for something, but I'm not going to take them in that game. Boston, Toronto, they're already out, so what's the point of taking them? And then Chicago at Phillies. Phillies are still playing for something, so they should win. But they're attracting a lot of the money, and the line's been pushing down, which typically I like to stay away from those games. Now, when we look at this matchup, Astros versus Seattle, this game is in Houston. Seattle right now this season has the edge versus the Astros. They're 6-4. Bryce Miller has been pitching pretty well. A little bit better at home than he does away, but when we look at his numbers versus Houston, he's picked up 2 wins. Now, he has given up 6 runs to Houston this season, something to factor in. Nonetheless, though, his last few starts have been on the money. On the flip side, you got Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has been dealing this season, but the last 2 games have been a little bit more shaky. And that happens, guys. Everything changes and everything ends. No pitcher and no batter is going to stay hot forever. And Hunter Brown, we're seeing some regression right now after a great start to the season, and he's been pitching pretty well this whole season. He's faced up the Mariners 3 times this season. He's lost 2 of them, but he's kept them at bay. The numbers are better than Bryce Miller's because he's only allowed 3 runs to the Mariners. Now, something to factor in this case is when did he face them? Faced them in May and July, and this team was a little bit different in that time frame. They didn't have a Rosarena. They didn't have Justin Turner. And they did have the players that are healthy back, like Polanco, Rodriguez, and Crawford, but they added more pieces to the mix to be able to compete and potentially beat the Astros in this situation. When we look at bullpen, it favors the Mariners significantly. The Astros bullpen has been atrocious over the last 5, and when we look at hitting versus starting throwing hand, it also favors the Mariners over the last 5 and over the last 10 game, guys. This line opened up at -137 for the Houston Astros. Money and support is going to the Houston Astros, and let's pull up this line to see where it's currently at. It's at -140. So as of right now, we're not really seeing reverse line movement. It's been pretty steady at -140. We want to see how this line moves throughout the day, and seeing a little bit more at where the money's coming from to see if there's a chance of reverse line movement in this game altogether. But let's continue on, right? Let's look at matchups. Let's make a informed decision here. Houston has the edge in this situation. They've seen Miller and have hit him more than Seattle have hit Mr. Hunter Brown, and the numbers speak for themselves, right? Bryce Miller has been dealing as of late, 2-1, 1.77 ERA, but you guys got to factor in where he's been pitching, right? His last 2 starts were at home, where he pitches a lot better. His numbers say that too, 6-3, 1.96 ERA at home. Away, 5-5, 4.44 ERA. So those numbers stand out quite a bit. On the flip side, you got Hunter Brown, a player that does better away too, but not by that much. He's pretty steady both at home and away with the 3.6, 3.9 ERA. So the numbers don't split up as much. There's not that big of a gap with Hunter Brown. Now, last thing we're going to look at is earned runs. Let's see how Vegas has these guys in regards to earned runs. Earned runs, they have Mr. Hunter Brown projected to give less earned runs. They have him at +120 to give over 2.5 and under 2.5 at -170. On the flip side, you got under 2.5 at -120 for Bryce Miller, right? When we look at hitting in the 9th, you got Astros at -130, guys. So I like the Mariners in this situation. I know the juice is a little bit high. I'd wait a little bit towards the end of the day to see if this flips. If the money's going to Houston Astros right now, this line should push up, which would make this line go down to maybe -175, -170, and that's where I'd bite it. Very few games today, right? So at the end of the day, we don't have a lot of options to pick from. So I would bite the +1.5, but I am going to wait on taking that game right now. Second game I'm going to talk to you guys about is NFL. And we got Jacksonville versus Buffalo. And Jacksonville, let's call it what it is. Trevor Lawrence has not been playing the way he is expected to play, but they're running the ball really well. And they're ranked in the top of the league when it comes to rushing yards per rush, right? 4th. ETN's playing extremely well. And along with that too, they thrive on stopping the rushing game. Their rushing defense is better than Arizona's and the Dolphins. Let's call it what it is. The Dolphins' defense was a little hurt. Arizona's defense is not as prominent, as good as the Jaguars' defense, and that's why the Jaguars stopped the Dolphins for a good part of that first game. And I believe they're going to cause trouble for the Buffalo running game today. 5.5 is a big spread, guys, in my opinion, especially for a team in Buffalo that's not proven yet. They struggled versus Arizona at home. They went and destroyed the Dolphins in their second game. Tua got injured. Tua didn't play well, and the Dolphins are just not that team this season. So week 2, we don't overreact to that, right? Now, let's look at this game a little bit further. Buffalo opened up at -5.5. Money and support's going to them at -5.5. And the line is currently still sitting at that -5.5. When we look at Vegas, guys, total points, right? Bills, total points, Jaguar, total points. Something that you guys can start looking at and getting a little bit of an edge, because Vegas gives you all the information at the end of the day with their player props for MLB, with their total points for football, basketball as well. They give you the information at least for you to know where their head's at. And right here, a key stat right here is 18.5 total points for the Jaguars and 24.5. That's why the spread's at 5.5, 6. It's at 5.5 because they have the -1, the 18.5 for the Jaguars going at -150 to go over, whereas for the Bills, it's at 24.5 at -120 to go over. So they're projecting the Jaguars are more favored to go 18.5 more than the 24.5 of the Bills. Very similar situation, and why I'm talking about this is because how I look at team player props for baseball to see if they're batting in the 9th, and I also look at the earned runs for the pitchers because we have our opinion, and then Vegas has their own opinion regarding the situations in the games. So important to look at that all together, guys. I want to see how this line moves. I'd bite this Jaguars game at +6, +6.5. I'd buy the hook up, but I want to see how this game moves throughout the day before making a decision on this game, guys. So for today's play, I know you guys are waiting for me to place the bet right in front of you guys. I'm going to do the same thing I did Friday. Follow me on Instagram. And make sure you only take the play that I post on Instagram. Last week I spoke on taking the Brewers versus Diamondbacks, and I talked about Illinois versus Nebraska. And notice how I'm saying Illinois now, not Illinois. So I'm learning. But I told you guys, hey, wait for me to post my ticket on Instagram. I only take one play a day. Very rarely do I take two, and I did Saturday, Michigan and Utah. Huge day. But very rarely do I do that. So make sure you wait for me to take the play and take the play. Don't take both plays, guys. I'm probably going to take only one play. And if I take two, you will see it and you'll be able to take both plays. But if you're watching this video, guys, make sure you guys are listening to what I'm saying so you guys don't lose. Because I see a lot of comments. Hey, bro, you lost with the Brewers. Bro, you're not listening, man. Not listening to the video. You're probably trying to skip through, trying to find the play so you can go place it. And typically, that's probably how you live your life. Just trying to just jump to the next, no patience, just trying to go. And you get bit in the ass doing that long term, especially in this industry. So listen, I will be posting the play in my Instagram at AF Sports. You'll see it in the description below. Follow it, and you'll get today's play. And we'll start the week off with a banger, guys. I'll catch you guys for tomorrow's video, a bigger slate with MLB. And remember, guys, October ball is money season, and we're 10 days away from that. Catch you guys tomorrow.